is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6.
Wasn't that a magnificent launch? That was in July of 1969. I was kind of young at the time and rather upset because they preempted Dark Shadows to show that launch, and then they preempted it again to show these guys walking on the moon. At age I didn't care, but I've come to appreciate it a whole lot since then. Thought I'd share that. I've got a longer clip at the end of this video if you want to take a look, but and did guess the model from 1969 was the Saturn V model that we have in the house. And now she's working on the clue that I gave her. No longer on 221. Remember to look before you cross. And she figured that out. Dummy me, I get the wrong address. So the 221 is what throws everything way off. But it works out in the end. And then she gets a new clue. Here's how it went. Okay, week 7 card. Clue to week 7, or I should say the clue to week 8, our week 7 card was no more on 221. Remember to look before you cross. Okay, we're getting beat by our cat over here. So say hello to Butterscotch.
Hey, Butterscotch.
So he says hi. All right, so Anne's asked me a bunch of questions, and she was all over the place trying to figure this out.
Let me see if I can remember some of the questions I was asking you.
Okay.
I was saying, okay, is it something here in the house?
No.
Is it a place?
Yes.
Okay, because it sounded like remember to look before you cross. Sounded like a road, a street.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a place that we have been to since we've been married?
And yes.
Is it a place where I worked?
It is.
Oh, the Red Cross.
And she's right. So 221 is the address on West Main Street is for the Red Cross. The American Red Cross was on Howard and North B, and the Amateur Radio Club had room upstairs and a back room that they had a whole bunch of stuff in there, and we had meetings in there once a month. So I was in and using that building for the Red Cross before she got her job there.
Yep.
And then she started working there in the Red Cross. It was kind of fun. And when they moved out of that old building to this really nice building on Main Street, she was there for a while. So 221, it's like no more on 221 because she is no longer there.
Yeah.
And just remember to look. And it's just I wanted her to kind of remember and you just kind of reminisce a little bit and just to look before you cross. And here cross was capitalized in this, so I just wanted her to think of a 221 and cross together, and she did figure it out. So she's got that. So we're gonna have to take a little road trip now so she can go get her Red Cross card.
Oh boy.
Okay?
All right.
We're going to show everybody what it looks like anyway.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
In a minute. Okay, we did a little road trip and we came to the new address of the American Red Cross, which is actually at 3310 Main Street here in Tampa, or Main Avenue. The original address where our ham radio club and she started working was at 221 North Howard. And I was actually trying to find the address of this newest place, and somehow I got the old 221. The 221 is still valid. We'll do a drive-by for that real quick here. But here, I want to show you the American Red Cross chapter here in Tampa. So there it is. Not much of a building. Actually, it's kind of nice. Strong brick building. And kind of brings back some memories. Ann says, you haven't been here in how long?
Probably around 20 years or more. 20 or more years. Yeah, about 20 years.
20 or more years. So this is the building that they moved to, away from the 221 North Howard. And so let's go take a look at that one real quick. Ann went and found her American Red Cross shirt so that she can remember this. A very unique shirt.
One of my favorite shirts.
One of her favorite shirts with the stitching on it here. So she's darning this in remembrance of those years. And again, ta-da! All right, let's go take a look at the other place, see what it's turned into. Okay, so we're over here at 221, which I guess now is 217. You know, there was two addresses. But, yep, this used to be 221. It's now been, I think, renumbered. But times change. This is the building that used to be the American Red Cross, and oh, does it look so much better now. They really refaced this. They put on a real roof. This used to have a flat roof on it. There was an amateur radio tower here on the side. So this was the American Red Cross that Ann worked in for a while until she moved out to that other one. And these were the clues that she was supposed to look before she crossed. And so for here, she gets her other clue.
Ah.
So there is your next card.
Your next card. Number 8.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is her next card, where she needs to try to figure out.
You figured me out. Friends' suggestions were good ones too. In this place, you worked for the American Red Cross. We were both involved here. And then some dots and dits and dots and dits, and I don't remember how to read code. I think it means I love you.
It does. I ran out of space. That's why it's there. But yes.
Okay, so the back says, clue to card number 9. Garden loved by honey, south of Park Place, but no pits. Pit 5.
No pits.
No pits?
That's an S.
Okay. You and your
Sorry,
kooky way of
it's an
doing
S.
things. Park Place, south of Park Place, but no pits. Garden loved by honey. Garden loved by honey.
Ooh, any clues? Any ideas?
A garden loved by honeybees, or a garden loved by you, my honey?
Neither. So we're going to let you figure it out.
Honey is capitalized.
Yes. So,
Okay.
so that's her next clue. That's the one she's got to try to figure out. And she's going to try to figure it out. So, any last words?
Thanks for staying with us. We enjoy your company. Please put some comments with your like, and we will talk to you soon.
Okay. All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
This is Apollo Saturn Launch Control. We passed the 6-minute mark in our countdown for Apollo 11, the flight to land of the first men on the moon. The swing arm now coming back as our countdown continues. Firing command coming in now. We're on an automatic sequence as the master computer supervises hundreds of events occurring over these last few minutes. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5.
Once the spacecraft rockets out of Earth orbit, the moon is a 3-day journey.
The crew is the tip of the iceberg. In Apollo 11, there were 400,000 people underneath that all had to do their job or we weren't going to make it. And I think every crew realized that. It was a team effort of NASA that got us to the moon.
These are probably the finest systems engineers at the world. They're all young. Average age was 26. I was the oldest guy that day. I was 36. Okay, guys, it's now time to get down to business. We're about ready to land a man on the moon. And I start talking to him because I feel compelled to talk. I was probably the most emotional of the flight directors. From the day of our birth, we were meant for this time and place. And today, we will land an American on the moon. Whatever happens here today, I will stand behind every decision you will make. We came into this room as a team, and we will leave as a team. And I tell my ground controller to lock the control room doors. And from now on, no person will leave or enter this room until we've either landed, we have crashed, or we have aborted. Those are the only 3 outcomes from this time on.
The first thing, obviously, that we're going to have to do is to undock from the command module.
Roger, how does it look? Roger.
And then we rotated around so that Mike could sort of make a quick check of our landing gear.
Listen, babe, everything's going just swimmingly. Beautiful.
Then the first thing we need to do is establish communication with the Earth.
Houston Eagle, how do you read? Bye-bye, Eagle. We're standing by for your burn report, over. Roger, the burn was on time.
Tempo in the room picks up right as we acquire spacecraft telemetry, and we immediately got problems.
X and Z notes.
We got communications problems you cannot believe.
Columbia, Houston, we've lost all data with Eagle. Please have him reapply on the high gain, over.
We couldn't communicate with the lunar module. Mike Collins could, because he could see him. He could point his antennas at him and talk to him. So what we would do is we would say, Mike, have the crew select a different antenna.
We've lost him. Tell him to go ask Omni, over.
Take Omni Bravo or Omni Delta. Will you roll the spacecraft a little bit for us? He'd roll the spacecraft, we'd get data.
Eagle, Houston, we recommend y'all 10 right will help us on the high gain signal strength, over. Okay, you should have him now, Houston. Eagle, we got you now. It's looking good, over.
And at descent minus 5 minutes, I give the go for a powered descent.
You go to continue powered descent. You're a go to continue powered descent.
The descent was very tricky business.
Okay, you should have him now, Houston.
Our plan was to start about 50,000 feet altitude,
Looking good, over.
3,000 miles per hour, to use one continuous rocket burn to decelerate to a hover in the landing area.
Eagle, Houston, everything's looking good here, over.
Throttle up. And I get confirmed throttle up, and telemetry drops out again. And I'm back in this ground roll. Do I have enough information to continue the descent or not?
Okay, all flight controllers, go for landing. Retro, go. Fido, go. Guidance, go. Control, go. Telcom, go. GNC, go. Ecom, go. Surgeon, go. Capcom, we're go for landing.
Houston, you're a go for landing, over. program alarm.
And about that time, we got a computer alarm of
1202.
1202.
1202.
The computer was giving us trouble.
It was a big attention getter. My first thought, oh no, we've lost it. We're not going to make it.
All we had was 1202, which is kind of disconcerting. You lose information, plus you've got an alarm, and you don't really know what it is.
Give us a reading on the 1202 program alarm.
I was reaching for my checklist to turn to this program alarm when the guidance guy, Steve Bale, said, "We're go, flight," on that alarm. Gene took his word. You know, okay, we're go. He didn't ask for explanation. We're go.
Roger, we got you. We're going that alarm.
Now the landing radar can begin to pick up range and velocity of the ground beneath us, and it compares that with what the computer thinks it ought to be, and there's a big difference.
Hold on. Our position check downrange to us to be a little off. Roger. 1201. 1201.
Well, it's extremely serious. Is the computer breaking? Is it telling us it's not functioning right?
1201. Roger, 1201 alarm.
What is the alarm telling us?
We're go. Same type. We're go.
Same type. It was a different number, but same type. He said, same type, flight, we're go.
47 degrees.
The
Roger.
computer was so busy, and it couldn't get all the jobs done, so it was dropping off these other little jobs down on the end and not doing them, which were jobs that weren't really that critical.
Just as Mission Control decides to ignore the computer alarms, the LEM sends another strange signal.
47 degrees.
We just saw this strange trajectory that we'd never seen in training.
300 feet down, 3.5. 47 forward.
He went down to about 400 feet, stopped his descent, and leveled off and started flying horizontally across the moon. He didn't tell us, but out the window what they were seeing was a big boulder field.
Our computer was steering us toward football stadium-sized craters, surrounded by steep slopes and covered with very large boulders.
50 down at 2.5. 19 forward. Altitude, velocity, light.
Neil had the one thing we did not have. He had the out-the-window view.
13 forward.
He knew whether he was over a safe place to land
200 feet.
or over a boulder field. My job was to tell him how much fuel he had. And when it had zero, that was our best knowledge. We had 0.
5.5 down. 9 forward.
The fuel states were falling, and we were getting close to what was going to be an abort situation.
100 feet, 3.5 down. 9 forward.
When we got to about 100 feet, the low-level light came on, and Charlie Duke gave us a call of 60 seconds.
Simple call, Eagle, 60 seconds.
60 seconds.
We better get on the ground pretty soon.
He had 60 seconds to land, and after that 60 seconds, it would be abort.
Down 2.5.
I didn't want to disturb Neil's concentration because I knew he was really working that problem.
2.5. Picking up some dust.
And now the crew is kicking up some dust. So we know they're darn close to the surface, but they were scooting pretty fast across it last time we heard.
4 forward, drifting to the right a little.
We used most of our remaining fuel, finding a relatively level and smooth landing spot.
Down a half. 30 seconds.
He had 30 seconds to land. I mean, it was deathly silent. Now, I don't think he was going to actually abort. I mean, that wouldn't have been the right stuff.
Contact light. Okay, engine stop. ATA at a descent.
I looked over at him, and he looked at me, and there was not a great emotion, but there was a smile of satisfaction on both of our faces. And
We shook hands.
413 is in. We copy you down, Eagle. Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot.
That you finally can say we just landed on the moon. We hit the moon with 17 seconds of fuel remaining.